We get asked a ton of questions about our stone cottage renovation, our off-grid homestead here in the Irish countryside, and our decision to leave our lives in the UK behind. Why did we even choose to come to Ireland in the first place? We even get questions about our relationship too.
So for a bit of fun, we thought we would spill the beans this week.
Bit of a different video this week. We are bringing you along with us. We're recording this over the course of a week, just picking up the camera, answering questions as we're getting on with other things. And so come along with us and we're going to answer your most burning questions. She's like, what you got?
You just dropped it all on the ground.
Hey, Kev. Hey, Kev. Don't the ponies need some shelter? And the answer is yes and no. So no, they don't need stables for a couple of reasons. One, they're cobs, they're hardy, they are, you know, equipped with lots of fur and winter coats, and they can live out. But also, Gavin actually suffers from a little bit of COPD, which is a respiratory a respiratory disease that affects horses. So he actually can't be stabled. So even if we had stables here right now, we wouldn't be able to put him in them because of the dust from the hay and things would aggravate that. So he's actually much happier outside. We've been told not to rug them either. So you can get like rugs, like little jacket, coat things for them. But they, you know, they've got a lot of fat on them and they've got a lot of fur protecting and keeping them warm. However, they do have lots of natural shelter here. So they have what we call the hidey hole over in one field, which is an area with shelter underneath some bushes and trees and next to a wall. Down this way there's an archway of trees and they can shelter under there. In the backfield there's lots of big trees that give them shelter, and then up this path here goes up to the cowshed, and they actually like to stand up by the cowshed sometimes as well. So wherever they are, there is somewhere that they can seek out some natural shelter.
Yeah.
Hey buddy. Yeah. Hello girlie. Point to where the hens and the veg gardens are.
The green slither up there.
Yeah. And then everyone wants to know, why are the hens and the veg so far away from the cottage, which is there?
Well, it's a common question, and it's a question that we got early days, and we have already answered it in a previous vlog. So if you look back on our land tour vlog, there'll be more details about what we're putting where and in what fields.
And you get like an aerial shot with the different fields, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So in summary, this field was intended to be our garden when we first landed, and it was only after a few weeks of actually being here in the depths of winter did we realise that this being a north-facing field with the sun rising behind it, and obviously the sun going to be casting a shadow on the majority of the field. Most of the field wouldn't actually receive any sunlight until past midday. So that's no big deal, you know, winter you're not going to be growing much, but I wanted to kind of maximise our possibility of growing as much as we can in the best conditions we can. Not to mention it's actually quite exposed, the prevailing wind kind of hits this kind of face on. Also the relief of the land is like, this is a 1 in 4, like 25% gradient, so nothing that couldn't be overcome with like swales or doing some kind of tiered landscaping, but a whole bunch of effort and energy required to actually turn this into less of a slope, into something that's manageable with actual flat areas to plant. For those 3 reasons.
Well, actually, if we have everything here, what do we use all those back fields for?
Yeah, true. The garden's going to include like polytunnels or greenhouses and things like that at some point, and they're not the prettiest structures, and we didn't want those like right in front of our face, right by the cottage. Having those structures hidden away in the further away fields is kind of better aesthetically, and there's loads of like periphery benefits as well. Like it forces us up and out, 5-minute walk or a few minutes worth of walk to actually get to the garden or get to the hens. To be forced to do that is, while it's not always great when it's miserable weather, benefits us physically and mentally. Not in the most obvious place, probably the least obvious place up there.
Well, no, not least, because we actually have a field beyond it. Yeah. That could be even further. Now that I'm walking up the side of Hillary, which is our big hill, so hilariously named, I think it'd be a good time to answer the question, why the heck don't you guys use the ponies to bring materials up the side of this hill? If you've been around here for any length of time, you've likely seen us either just huffing and puffing up here or carrying compost and the likes up, because we don't have any other access to our vegetable growing patches the hens, etc. And the reason we don't use the ponies is because they're not trained. So they're both foster ponies. One of the ponies, Gavin, he is companion only, meaning he cannot be ridden at all. So that could be for a variety of reasons. Often there's been some kind of traumatic experience or mistreatment, and so he wouldn't feel safe having something attached to him or on him, and he is a bit more of the skittish and harder to win his trust of the two. Sia, she's only 4. Bear with me, please, caller. She could potentially be trained, but we're not horse trainers. We want to do right by these ponies. We wouldn't want to put them under any undue pressure, and if we were going to train them, you know, we'd need to do a ton of research, work up slowly to it. It'd need to be kind of an ongoing project, and it would only work for her. All that being said, it's not a quick fix solution, and that's why we haven't embarked upon it yet. So given that you're in your work gear and you've just been working outside for your lunch hour and you're about to log back on, maybe now would be a good time to answer the question we get all the time of, is this the slowest renovation on the internet?
Well, yeah, when you've got a full-time job, there's only so many hours in a day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably is the slowest renovation on the internet. You know, here's what it is. Can't all afford to just give up work and then work full-time on a renovation and somehow magically fund it with some trust fund.
Wait, we don't have trust funds?
Well,
We're just working for fun.
No, we've got to earn our keep.
Yeah.
So there are benefits to having a desk job for your 9 to 5, which is it gives me plenty of energy to actually do physical, laborious renovation stuff when I'm not actually sitting at the desk, which would be a challenge if you've got a physically active job. Like if you're a builder, for example, they always say like a builder's house is the last one to get finished, right? And it's because, well, they're physically tired at the end of a working day. So I'm a desk jockey sitting on my backside for 7.5 hours a day, so I've got plenty of energy to spend on things like renovating old stone cottages in the Irish countryside. So there's other benefits to being a software dev. It's quite an interesting field, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's part science, part art. And I'm paraphrasing from a colleague who described it as quite an artistic endeavour. There's a big creative element to it, and it's quite cerebral, so staves off the dementia.
So you get to work out your brain by day and then work out your brawn.
Absolutely.
By
doing pull-ups on diggers by night.
By night. For every one jibe we get about how slow our renovation is, we get tens, if not hundreds, of really encouraging messages like this one, which is comment of the week from Randall, who's in New Brunswick, Canada, my mother country. Hey Randall. And Randall said he's amazed at the progress we've made on our beautiful cottage and the work we've done, and sometimes it's hard for us while we're in it to see the progress and not feel frustrated by the timeline, especially when we're in the caravan. And so having you guys remind us that actually we're doing an okay job here is just so uplifting. So thank you, Randall, and thank you to everybody whose comments week in, week out inspire us and who've inspired this very episode with all of your questions for us. You're a group of absolute legends. Talk me through this outfit then.
Well, pretty much everything from the waist down has been gifted by our amazing subscribers.
What legends!
So I've been kitted out with some work trousers.
Nice.
With knee pads.
Oh yes, got to save those knees.
Protecting my delicate old knees. A special touch of an actual belt.
What? No more string?
Somebody gifted me a belt to replace my string. So
they were even more annoyed than I am at the string belt, and they had to just do something about it.
So no more string cutting into my waist.
Oh yay,
as
comfort.
I go about my chores. Not only have I got a belt, I've got a tool belt.
Look at this!
So I've now got no excuses for forgetting any tools. So I won't be running back and forth to the toolbox because it's all going to be with me. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Some fantastic foot protection.
Oh, didn't you have some safety goggles you were going to put on?
I do. Bear with.
Is that on your head?
Just some PPE, some eye protection.
Nice, looking snazzy.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Noel.
Nice.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you, John. Thank you to all of our lovely subscribers. Some of you include a gift note to say who it's from, some of you don't. So we very much appreciate you. All these little things make a big difference.
Yeah.
You're contributing towards making our dream come true. So thank you, folks. I feel like a pro.
You look like a pro.
I've got all the gear.
And some idea.
A little bit.
Why is this bit still pink?
This is still pink because this is actually not the original part of the cottage. This was an extension done in the 70s, 80s in phase 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. This is going to be knocked down and rebuilt bigger and better. So we didn't want to pile energy and resources into actually making any improvements to this because it's going to be destroyed in the short term. We're just going to slap some cheap masonry paint on top of it just to hide this hideous pink. So that will be happening at some point soon.
Just sitting in the garlic beds, no big deal. So behind me we've got the garlic bed that we just planted, and since we did the video showing us planting 300 cloves of garlic, we had so many comments of like, wow, that's a lot of garlic, and questions around why we're planting quite so much. So 300 cloves will mean 300 bulbs, potentially. First of all, I cook all of our meals from scratch, so we use quite a lot of garlic. I'd say at least 2 bulbs a week, minimum, maybe 3. So that would already there be 100 or 150. So that's like half the garlic already accounted for, and that's before we do any kind of preserving of anything. So we might pickle some garlic cloves to use in like salads and things like that. We'd use garlic in pickling things like Kayvan did a load of pickled eggs earlier this year. So if we were going to make any kind of like condiments, chutneys that have garlic in it, or kimchi, I might make some kimchi. You get the idea. We'd need extra garlic. And then also we're growing 8 different varieties, so we want to try them all, see what the flavour's like, how they grow, how they store, so that we know for next year, for the next growing season, what we might plant. So we're kind of growing surplus for that. And also it's our first year growing garlic, so it might not all actually grow and grow well, so we want to make sure that we have sufficient for that. And if we have a surplus of garlic, it won't go to waste. We love gifting things that we've grown or raised to our friends and community here. But yes, if you meet us in person, you probably always have garlic breath. The sun's actually shining, but it's also wet, and we've got all the weathers out there. Classic Irish day. A question we get asked all the time is, rather than deal with our wet and muddy gear coming in and out of the caravan, why don't we attach some sort of awning or porch to the side? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, it's a nice idea, and if we could guarantee that it wouldn't cause us some heartbreak by blowing away, then we probably would have. Southwest Ireland, we see our fair share of blustery weather, with winds like frequently bursting like above 60 kilometres an hour.
Into the hundreds even, we've had.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Storm Bert, a few weeks ago was 100 kilometres an hour plus. If we were going to be in here any longer, then I'd definitely think about it. Yeah. But given that we are only prepared to, we're only going to spend 1 winter in here. Yeah. It was like solving a problem that was only going to exist for like 4 or 5 months, right?
Is there an element of, if we make this too comfortable, the chance of us getting into the cottage before next winter diminish?
Maybe. I don't like temporary stuff. I don't like investing effort in temporary stuff. I like doing stuff once, properly, permanently, never have to think about it again. So
do it right, do it once.
Yeah, exactly. So we could have just got like tarp caravan awning. We've seen examples of like our friends West Cork Wander, where they've done a vlog highlighting a storm coming by and just tearing it off. There's examples like that where we're basically just learning from other people's hard-won lessons. So the alternative is like build a permanent structure with wood and with proper metal sheeting and stuff like that, but it's just an energy investment that...
One side quest too many.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We've chosen to live with the mud and the mess and the lack of inconvenience of walking into the caravan with your muddy boots and wet rain gear, because it's the right decision in the short term anyway.
I'll remind you of that. We get asked a lot, why Ireland? Why did we decide to move here specifically? Do we have family connections to the area? Did we spend a lot of time here as kids? Did we think about moving anywhere else instead? why on earth couldn't we just start a homestead in the UK? If you've been one of the people wondering the answer to these questions, then what you want to do is check out this secret video that we recorded to answer all of that, because why Ireland isn't just a quick answer. So that's why we recorded a super cozy video in my cabin. If you want to get your hands on it, you can unlock it for free. There's a link in the description. We'll also pin a comment. And when you sign up for that video, why did I decide to record this whilst walking up the side of Hillary? When you sign up for that video, you will also get yourself on our email list. So we send out really fun email newsletter update every week, more or less, behind the scenes from the homestead, from the renovation, share things like recipes if you see me making stuff and other stuff going on. It's a really fun way of connecting with you between our videos. So yeah, if you want to get in on that secret video and find out the answer to that particular question, then we spill all of the beans on that in that video, link in the description. Question we get asked quite often is, how do we support ourselves living remotely? And the answer is that we both work. So Kayvan has a full-time job, but it's full remote, meaning that he works pretty much exclusively from home, although having said that, he is actually in the office today. But that's more for a Christmas meetup than anything. He is a software engineer and he works for an Irish company, and he works from his office in the van, and I am currently working from this makeshift office here in the caravan, but we have built my office cabin, which I'm hoping to get ready soon so I can get all of my gear out of here. But I actually run kind of two businesses. I say kind of because this whole YouTube sideline is turning it into something bigger than we'd anticipated. We love it though, like that's not a complaint at all, but it takes up a significant amount of time. But I have been running my own online business for about 7-8 years now, and it was my business that supported us while we went traveling for 6 months, so that's how we were able to do that. And because it's an online business, I'm location independent too. So these are the things that have enabled us to be able to move just anywhere we want and be able to not have to worry about jobs where we're moving to. So we feel very privileged to be in that position, but also we have worked intentionally to get to this point. So we wanted to be able to go traveling, and we also wanted to be able to live in the countryside, and we knew we needed the kind of jobs that weren't dependent on a commute to make that happen. So it's been a long time in the making. We're making it work. Last question, I thought we could answer this one together. We get a lot of people saying that if they were us, they'd be crying all the time, and that they think that it's great that we can like laugh at ourselves. Do we cry? Do we argue a lot off camera? People are always curious about our relationship.
I mean, you know, like any normal family and normal people, we have our ups and downs.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we have the odd bicker. I wouldn't say we argue properly.
No, we're not in, like, we don't row. That's not our vibe. We're more just like seethe silently at each other. Or be passive aggressive. That's more our style.
That's the British way.
Yeah. I think doing YouTube actually helps because it forces us to pause every week, reflect on what we've done, take note, and we always have a giggle while we're filming. So it kind of like lightens the mood anyway. But we just, not all the time, but we do tend to just find the funny side if we can. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. You've got to be optimistic people to take on projects like this. So
slash stupid.
Optimistic or foolish.
Yeah. You choose.
If we ever have a lull or a low, it's never for long. The biggest challenge is feeling guilty about being in such a wonderful place and being so privileged. And like when you are in like feeling low, it's like I feel guilty about being low because
how dare I?
Of like what an amazing opportunity, what an amazing life, what an amazing privilege to be here doing what we're doing, you know. Especially
as people who longed for this for 10-20 years. Yeah. And actually, when people say like I'd be crying, it's going to sound cheesy, but I'm more likely to well up in gratitude than in frustration. Was it last week or the week before? I had this day where we came home, we'd been out. It was our fault. We left the ponies free roaming and they caused absolute carnage, and it took our daughter and I an hour and a half in the pouring rain to clean up. Like they'd broken a garden bench, they'd gotten into the chicken feed, just ponies doing pony stuff. So we were really like wet, disheveled, and we came into the caravan, and as soon as we came in I was like, oh, let's watch an episode of Gilmore Girls and have a cup of tea. And I dropped an egg, fresh egg, on the sofa, and it smashed on the sofa, and I had to take everything off the sofa. And for reference, that's where we keep a load of stuff, because where else do you keep stuff in a caravan? So everything off, take the cover off the sofa, get raw egg out, but it was also over my daughter's coat because she'd put it there. Came back in, I was like, right, that's it. And then I realised I had to actually put the ponies away because it was getting dark. Went to put the ponies away and just dashed out, didn't put on my wet weather gear, was moving their really heavy gait, and my feet just went completely out from under me in the mud, and I headbutted their gate. And I came in, I was like, I'm going to bed now. And I just hid under the duvet. You were out, and I texted you and said, bring back fish and chips tonight. So I didn't fight. I'm laughing at it now. It is quite hilarious, but that was probably a moment that nearly broke me.
Everyone has those days, but
they seem to be more frequent around here. No, there's just calamities is the thing, but we do laugh at them rather than cry, apart from that day. Quite a wild ride so far this year, huh?
It has been a wild ride, yeah.
We've like changed our lives entirely.
Yeah, I couldn't have really predicted this a few years ago.
No, we had no idea how if ever, we would be homesteading.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are indeed.
It's been a laugh, hasn't it?
It's been a laugh. It's been hard work, and juggling work-life balance and a massive project.
Two. We've got the cottage and the homestead.
True. Yeah, two massive projects. Yeah, it's really challenging. Sometimes it's a nightmare. You know, it's not the blissful dream that.
We're not just skipping over to the hens every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, slowly but surely looking forward to things getting that little bit easier.
It can only get more comfortable from here,
True.
surely.
It couldn't get any worse.
By degrees. Don't say that. The caravan might hear you and do something.
There's not much left on it to go wrong. Everything's gone wrong.
Everything has. But it's been incredible, hasn't it? And this, you guys, that has been something that has been a continuous source of delight for us. You make us smile daily with your, comments of camaraderie and encouragement and interesting tidbits and jokes. Like, it's just
learnt a lot.
We've learned a ton from our
really appreciate the moral support. We get some great comments, great feedback. Again, like I would have never have dreamt like that we would have had 40,000 plus subs a few months after starting our channel.
No, it's wild.
And not just that, but like the engagement.
This is a proper community. Everyone like rallies around each other and us, and I think that's just a beautiful thing. That's been such a wonderful surprise out of 2024.
It's been great. There's a lot of folks who share similar aspirations to want to do a similar kind of lifestyle, homesteading, at some point in their future. It's really good to hear from folks wanting to achieve that kind of life dream, and really pleased to be providing inspiration for those folks.
Or for anyone who just has a crazy dream and wants to go after it. Hey, if this pair of bumble can, surely you can.
If we can do it, anyone can, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're excited to see what 2025 holds for us. Will we move into the cottage? Will I get my milk cow? But we're also excited to see what 2025 holds for you. Keep commenting, telling us about what's going on with you and your dreams and the progress there, because that always just really makes us smile too, doesn't it?
For sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being with us in 2024, and looking forward to you being with us in 25.
Yeah, it's going to be another wild ride, I predict. See you next year.
See you next year, folks.
Bye.
Woodshed's a lot softer than it looks.
You're ruining our shot, guys.
Mother Nature.
Comment of the week. Comment of the week. Comment of the week. That then puts hotness. Hot air.
Hotness.
This hotness. I'll take that. That puts warm.
Say it like it's hot. going to serve as Corey's cottage.
I mean, maybe. Maybe we just move
Let's
into
just
it.
move in there.
The flat pack caravan. Flat pack caravan.
I hope not.
Imagine that. That sounds like something we would do.
One that's built in a factory is bad enough, let alone a flat pack caravan.
You fall down the hole. This solves our discrepancy.
How's it feel to be married to someone who's 4'6"?
You tell me. Comment of the week. That was really lame. It's so small. Take it.
Enjoy these 18 inches. I don't know if it's YouTube appropriate. We might get demonetised.
Okay. To pew. I haven't even had the sugar.
Spent on top. I think the sugar's kicking in. I've got sugar lips.
You've always got sugar lips. Rose tinted glass tears. Rose. Oh no, it's contagious.
You've got sugar lips. Yeah, that's off camera, so you can't see that. So I'm doing the. It's been a while since I put one of these on.
Whoever knew you'd be posing for like fashion shots.
I did some modelling when I was about 8, actually.
Did you? What? How am I only learning this now?